guys, welcome to the channel, the football analyst from India. Today, I'm going to discuss about the World Cup 2022 predictions according to me. So, this World Cup is going to be really interesting. So, the draws were made in 2 days ago, and after this, the groups were made, and the teams which have qualified have been distributed into the 8 groups. So let's see the groups and what are the two teams which I am looking forward uh, to see in the finals. So the first group is Qatar, the host nation, and the second, which was Ecuador, and which is from the South American, and the next is Senegal, which is an African team. They had recently won the African Cup of Nations, and next is Netherlands, who have improved a lot in the recent years in the European circuit. So Qatar, as they were selected as the host nation, and they were the last Asian champions in 2019. So they have a really good team which they have built up for the tournament, and they have really worked hard so that the team can succeed. Also, they participated in various tournaments like World Cup, in which they came in as a semi-finalist. They lost against USA. So Qatar is a really good team, and they may even surprise a few of the other teams in the groups. Also, Ecuador, the Ecuador is really good team as they have had been third in the South American the World Cup qualifiers. So it's really good, and hopefully they may give a good competition to other teams. Senegal, they're the African champions. They have a really good team, and maybe also have a good run in the tournament. Next is Netherlands. They have a really good team, a good team with good passers, and have a team which might be able to beat a few of the big nations, other big nations too. So this group looks very competitive, and what I see is that if Qatar can beat a few of them, they may also be able to qualify for the next round, which is round of 16. But what I see is that Netherlands are one of the teams which I'm sure about that they may qualify as the qualities at a top high level. And next team I would see as Senegal or Qatar. But my preference would be just Senegal over the Qatar. And maybe it comes down to the Senegal versus Qatar match. So that match would be really important. Also, don't just let go of Ecuador. Ecuador may also surprise a few other teams in the group. So let's see. Hopefully, according to me, it's Netherlands and Senegal which go into the next round. Next, it is the Group B, which includes England, Iran, USA, and the UEFA Path A winners, which can be from Wales, Ukraine, or Scotland. So in June, July, there will be playoff matches for these UEFA pathway to qualify for the World Cup, and Wales have already reached the final of that, and Ukraine and Scotland still need to play, and that might be a match to watch as full world would be rest of the world would be supporting Ukraine due to the current circumstances. And in the group, it looks really interesting as England is pitted against USA. So basically, it says that it's football versus soccer, which is the acronym used, right? It's very interesting. So it will be football versus soccer, which fans will be talking about, which will be the talk of the tournament, I guess. So let's see. It will be a really interesting group. and England have been performing really well in the past two tournaments, in past two major tournaments, which is Euros and World Cups. In World Cup, they reached the semi-final, and in the Euros, they reached the final. They almost won it, but they lost on the penalties. So they may be one of the favorites to win the tournament. So let's see how this group goes. It's really interesting. Iran is also a really good team, and they may be able to beat other teams as they are one of the best Asian teams out there. So also they are really ranked highly. Next is USA. They are a good bunch of team, has a good collection of youngsters and really promising players coming out through their group, like Christian Pulisic and Sergio Dest, and there's Jen Reina. So there's a lot of players there, and they may be able to surprise also the England team also. So let's see, it will be an interesting match to watch between England versus USA. Next is the Wales, Ukraine, Scotland. Between these three teams, I think it will be Wales which will qualify. That is due to the reason that Ukraine, they have been struggling with the current circumstances, which is war, and they might not be in the particular situation to be able to play at a competitive level, as their players have not been playing regularly, some of them, and some of them have been playing. So let's see how it goes. So Ukraine versus Scotland would be a huge match, and I think Scotland would beat them, and then it will be Wales versus Scotland, and I think the Superman Gareth Bale may lead the Welsh team to the World Cup after so many years. That's what I think will be. And when they come into the World Cup, I think they may cause some major upset too. So let's see. The two teams which I think will qualify for the next round would be England and USA. Between the second spot would be really tight, I think, between all the three teams, which is Iran, USA, and Wales. England would definitely qualify as the number one team in the group, and I think it just USA will qualify based on the amount of talent they have in the ranks. And yeah, next group, it's Argentina. So it contains Argentina. So Lionel Messi, one of the best players of all time. And then there's Saudi Arabia, then there is Mexico, and there is Poland. So this group is looks interesting. My favorite team, Argentina, is also there. So this will be a group I will be watching very thoroughly, and I think Argentina has got an really good group for them, competitive, but they can qualify easily through the group which they have been assigned. The other teams, it's Saudi Arabia. They had a good qualifying campaign for the World Cup qualifiers, but I think at the World Cup stage in big tournaments, they failed to give a good competitive competition to others. They may give a good battle out there, but I think the other teams will win over them. And next is Mexico. So Mexico have been performing regularly well in the World Cups. They have been qualifying for last five major World Cups. So they have been reaching the round of 16 very easily, but that's the only path they reach. After that, they have not been able to qualify the quarterfinal stage. So that should be the aim, that they should be able to qualify this group, and I think they need to prove themselves and prove to the world that they can qualify to the next round also, which is quarterfinal. But this Mexico teams looks little weaker compared to past glorious Mexican teams, golden generations. But I think they may give us a few good surprises as they have some good players. Next is Poland. So Poland, they just qualified in the playoff matches, and Lewandowski is the main player, and they have I would say, a good defensive team, but they have not been able to perform really well in the big tournaments like World Cups and in the Euros. So let's see. It will be really interesting to watch them. And the one of the matches I would see is that Argentina versus Poland, which will be basically Lewandowski versus Messi match. They would All the fans would call it, and that match would be really interesting. So from this group, I think it will be Argentina as the winner, and from second position, it will be between Mexico and Poland. So, and I just think that Mexico will pip Poland by beating them in their matches. Next, it is the Group D, which includes the World Cup winners, France, and it contains Denmark, it contains Tunisia, and also it will contain a team from AFC CONMEBOL winners playoff, which will be between Australia, Peru, and UAE. So between Australia, Peru, UAE, basically it will be first AFC playoffs final between the Australia and UAE, and from that I think it will be Australia based on the talent and based on the past performances, and then it will be between Australia and Peru, and I think it will Peru will be the winner of that finals and will qualify for the World Cups. And so the lineup will be France, Peru, Denmark, Tunisia. Now this group looks pretty easy on the eyes, as France and Denmark looks a very strong team in the group. France, they're World Cup winners. They have world-class players, and they have been performing really well in the all the qualifiers too. So I think they will be the team to beat in the tournament, and they're the defending champions. They will be ones to watch. Next is with Peru, where they are a really strong team. They might even surprise a few of the teams, and but I don't think they will qualify for the next round. But they might give surprises. They have a good structure and a good system. They might not have really talented or very incredible players, but they have a good system in the team. Next is Denmark, which looks really interesting and promising. Denmark, the player I would like to watch is Christian Eriksen, as in the Euros he had a cardiac arrest, and let's see how he will play in the World Cup. That will be the interesting thing to watch in the World Cup. It will be the top of the tournament also, as Christian Eriksen uh, arrives to the big tournament, and how does he play. So let's see. Hopefully, he will have a good tournament. And Denmark, they are a really good team, and they may go for a long run also in the tournament. Next is Tunisia, which is an African nation, and they have a good defensive team, but I don't think so they will qualify for the next round. The winners, I think, from this group will be France. It looks obvious that France will be the top of the group, and next would be, I think, Denmark. They should be able to qualify as second from this group. Next, it is Group E, and Group E looks really interesting. It might also look as the group of death, but let's see how the qualifiers go for the CONCACAF OFC winners. So basically, they are Spain, Germany, and Japan are already qualified in this group, and there's two teams which needs to qualify. One of the team will qualify between Costa Rica and New Zealand. So they are the CONCACAF and OFC winners. So they have to fight for the spot. I think it will be Costa Rica based on the talent and the history, past history, and I think Spain, Costa Rica, Germany, Japan. That looks really interesting. And the Costa Rica has surprised in the previous World Cups, like in 2014 when they qualified for the next round. So they have a good keeper in Keylor Navas. So Costa Rica looks really interesting. And the other two big nations, Spain and Germany, they are one of the big nations in the tournament, and they have had a good past records. But recently, in past few two World Cups, they have had a horrible tournaments, except for Germany in the 2014. But in past World Cup, they had a horrible tournament, and especially for Germany when they couldn't qualify from the group stage. So, but this time, Spain and Germany, they have a young group and youngsters in them, and there's really good talent in them. And I think these two teams may go for a long run in the tournament. The other team is Japan, which is one of the successful teams from Asia, and they have good quality players who have been playing in the European circuit, and I think they make a good surprise, and they may even be able to go as the second team. So let's see. The group looks really interesting. Spain, I think they will qualify as the winners, and because they have a really good team. And Germany, I think, will qualify as a second team. Japan may give competition for that spot. Next team is the Belgium from the Group F, Canada, Morocco, and Croatia. So these all four teams looks really interesting, especially Belgium, Croatia. For Belgium, they are I think it's the last tournament for the golden generation of the Belgium. Uh, they have had a really good bunch of players for in the golden generation. Eden Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne, Lukaku, Tillmans, Kotoe. They have had a good bunch of players, but I think this tournament may be the last of them, the last of that cohesive group, and I think this is their last chance to win the World Cup, or I don't think so. They may have another chance to go for the World Cup, or it might take few years after that. Uh, Next is Croatia. Next is Croatia. I would see as the good team in the group, and as they were the World Cup finalist in the previous World Cup, they may give a good run in the tournament. And the main player Luka Modric is one of the players to watch out for, as he was man of the tournament in the past World Cup. Other two teams, Canada, in 38 or 36 years, after 38 or 36 years, they qualified for the World Cup. So Canada looks really promising team, as they qualified as the top group from the North American World Cup qualifiers. So Canada looks really good team, as they have few good youngsters, and their main player Alfonso Davis may give a monstrous performance too for them. And they have good bunch of players and good system, and they may give a good surprise also. The other team, Morocco, they are a good bunch of team, and they have good players who have been playing in the European circuits. So I think they may give a good competition to Croatia for the third spot. And What I think is that Belgium will qualify as the first team from the group, and second team would be Croatia. But I think both Canada and Morocco may give a run for the money to the Croatian team, as both teams are really competitive, and this group looks really competitive. Next is Group G, which contains Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. So, Brazil, I think everyone knows that they are the best team, uh, one of the best teams in the tournament's history, and they have had a glorious past, and even they are playing good recently. So, I think they are the easy winners from this group. Looks easy group for them. The other teams, which are Serbia, Switzerland, Cameroon, looks equivalent, and they are really competitive. They all the three teams will compete for the second spot in the group. But I think Switzerland, they have Jordan Shaqiri and Xhaka. Those two players may help Switzerland qualify for the next round. Also, let's see. Keep in mind that Switzerland even beat the France team in the Euros. So it's really interesting to watch them for that reason. Cameroon, they are a good team, a good defensive team, and may give a good battle out there. Serbia is the other team from Europe, and I think they have good bunch of players who are playing in the European circuit, and they may give a good competition for the second spot. But I think Switzerland will qualify as the second. The last group, Group H, which looks the most interesting group in the whole tournament. Uh, Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, South Korea. All these four teams are really competitive. This group looks like one of the most competitive group in the tournament. You may say that this might be the uh, group which is very difficult to qualify from, and there is Portugal. So Portugal, as you know, Ronaldo is there, and this might be his last tournament, and I think Portugal has a really good team, especially to support Ronaldo, as a good few good youngsters are coming out of Portugal, and they have a lot of players to choose from for the World Cup squad. So Portugal is really competitive team, and I think they may go for a long run in the tournament, as they may try to give a good farewell for Ronaldo. Next is Ghana, which is a good team and from coming from Africa, and they are really competitive. They have a good young team, I think, and they have been competitive, and it will be really interesting to see the match between Ghana and Uruguay, as Ghana would like to go for a revenge, as in the 2010 World Cup when Luis Suarez stopped the uh, Ghana's goal scoring opportunity through stopping through his hands, and that would be really interesting, as he got a red card. Then there was a penalty. Ghana missed the penalty, and then Uruguay went on to qualify for the next round, to the semifinals. So yeah, that would be really interesting to see between Ghana and Uruguay, as there's a rivalry in that. And Uruguay, they're a really strong defensive team, and they're a good bunch of players are there. Luis Suarez and Cavani are the leaders, and this might be their last World Cup. So let's see how they will perform. The last team, which is South Korea. South Korea, really competitive team from Asia, and they might give run for money to the other teams in the group. And they have Heung-min Son, who is their main player in the team, and I think he may be the hope South Korea depends on and hopes to qualify for the next round. according to me, it will be between Portugal, Uruguay, who will qualify. So Portugal, I think, will qualify as the group winners, and Uruguay as the second team. Ghana and South Korea will be really close, and I think they may give competition to Uruguay. Let's see, but I think Uruguay will come as second. Now let's see the knockout stage of the tournament, which is from round of 16, then quarterfinal, semi-final, and finals, and to the group winners. So this is my predictions. You can see in the slides. As as you can see, the first match is Netherlands versus USA. So Group A, the group winner will be Netherlands, and group runners-up USA. So I think between them it should be easy for Netherlands to qualify as the winner from that round of 16 to the quarterfinals. Between Argentina and Denmark, it will be competitive match as Denmark are not a pushover team, and they might give a good competition, and they may also be able to surprise. But I think Argentina should qualify as they have had a good run and unbeaten run till now. Let's see how they will perform, but I think Argentina should qualify for the quarterfinals. Next is between Spain and Croatia. This will be a really interesting match to watch as both of these teams were really competitive in Euros when they played against each other, and it was one of the best matches in the tournament. So let's see. I think Spain should just pip Croatia. It might even go to the penalties, and I think, yeah, Spain should qualify as they have a good bunch of youngsters who are have a good world class player potential players. So next is between Brazil and Uruguay. I think Brazil should beat Uruguay, and Brazil will qualify to the quarterfinals. Next is between England and Senegal. This match would be competitive, I think, and England will win and qualify to the quarterfinals. Next is between France and Mexico. Another disappointing tournament for Mexico as they will not be able to qualify to the quarterfinals again for the sixth time, seventh time. I don't know. I can't remember the count of number of times Mexico have been eliminated in the round of 16. So, but I think France should easily qualify from this round of 16. So France will go into the quarterfinals. Next is between Belgium and Germany. Belgium. This match is one to watch out for. Other one is Spain and Croatia, and this one Belgium and Germany. Belgium, it will be the last chance, but what gives them a disadvantage is that their main player, Eden Hazard, has not played in past 3 years so well to the world to the level he used to play at. Like in the previous World Cup, he was one of the best players in that World Cup. But this time around, I don't think he will be at his best. He may not be even in the playing 11, and I think Belgium will miss his creativity and goal scoring opportunities, and it will be over dependent on Lukaku, De Bruyne, and Courtois. So I think they need Hazard to perform, but I don't think so. He will perform. Germany will qualify due to this reason. They have a good bunch of youngsters, and the players have been performing really well in the top leagues in the world. So I think they will qualify to the quarterfinals. Next is between Portugal and Switzerland. I think Portugal should qualify easily, but you can't say never. Switzerland gave a scare to the France team and beat them and went to the next round. But I think Portugal should qualify. Now, what about the quarterfinals? Now, quarterfinals looks interesting. Netherlands versus Argentina. So I think Argentina will pip this Netherlands team, might go to extra time and pip them. And Spain versus Brazil, I think this match may go to penalties and Spain will win and just on the final margin may qualify to the next round, and it might be a disappointment for Neymar and his teammates. But yeah, I think Spain, they have a good advantage of having good young players, uh, but I think this will be a really good match to watch, Spain versus Brazil. I think this might be one of the match of the tournaments also. So let's see. I think Brazil will just miss out on this opportunity. Spain will go to the semi-finals on penalties. That's what I think. Next is between England and France. It will be penalty loss for England again against France. I think France will qualify from this quarterfinal. It will be really interesting match to watch, as England are a really good team and they have been performing really well in the major tournaments. But France, I think, will qualify. They have world class players. They will qualify on penalties, and England will miss out again on penalties. Next is between Germany and Portugal. I think Portugal should qualify from this quarterfinal, as I think Germany, they have good player, but I think Portugal will have more will in their team and determination to see a good farewell last match for the Ronaldo, and they will qualify to the semi-finals. Now, let's come to the semi-final. Semi-final will be really interesting, as it's Argentina versus Spain. So basically, if you remember clearly in the past, Messi had a chance to represent Spain, but he chose Argentina. So that looks really interesting, as he will face against a few of his previous teammates from Barcelona, and that would be really interesting to watch. And it may be even emotional at the end. And I just hope Argentina qualifies. I think Spain, very dangerous team, as they play beautifully through the system. Luis Enrique is really good in that, and I think they may also have a good chance to qualify in the finals. But the hope is there still. Messi qualifies to the final of the World Cup for once more, after 2014. Again, he qualifies, and hope he reaches the finals again and gives himself a good chance to win the World Cup. So I think Argentina will go through this round. It might go to extra time. I think till extra time it will go. So on extra time, I think Messi scores against his old teammates. And I think Messi goes to the finals of 2022 World Cup. The next is Portugal versus France. So this is really good match, and France, they are one to watch out for. They have a really good, strong team. Uh, but I think Portugal will have more determination than France. I think Portugal will go to the World Cup finals, and I think Ronaldo will score against France, uh, and I think this might end in full normal time. In injury time, I think Ronaldo will score in this match, and I think he'll go. He'll bring his uh, team to the final, and it will be Argentina versus Portugal, the last dance for Messi and Ronaldo, the finals. Argentina versus Portugal. It will be really interesting. I think it will be Argentina versus Portugal, the finals, and it will be one of the best matches. Might be might not be beautiful to watch, as both teams are not ones who play a good, beautiful football, but they play a way which is battle out, which is go hard on the other opposition team, battle it out, win the tournament, win the game. They go for the victories, and I think Argentina will win against Portugal uh, in the penalties, or I think in extra time or penalties it will go to, and they will win the tournament, and it will be a good farewell for Ronaldo and Messi, leaving the football at their peak and at the grandest level in the footballing history. So the two best players in the history of the game will leave at the highest peak of the game, which is World Cup finals, where Argentina wins and Messi lives the tournament. Messi lives the trophy, and maybe it will be the man of the tournament will be between Messi and Ronaldo based on the performances. But yeah, I think they this will be the match, and this will be the final to watch out for, as you may never see this again, this historic moment. And I think Argentina will qualify as the winners of the tournament of 2022 Qatar World Cup. So that's it, guys. Those are my predictions. What are your predictions? Give them down below in the comments. Like, share, subscribe and hopefully it's a good tournament in December, in the November December, and hopefully we see good set of matches. So see you guys. Bye. Sayonara. Good night. Bye bye.